If you're responsible for marketing at a tech company, stick around as we're going to be covering off the CMO strategic planning process and the exact steps you need to take to create a market-leading strategy for your tech firm. Hello, I'm Michael Williamson, founder of TechGrowth Insights, where we believe penetrating insights drive growth for technology companies. I've spent over 25 years in senior leadership roles at major tech firms like O2, Vodafone, Staples, Equifax and Symantec, selling over $30 billion in tech products and services globally. Now I share that experience to help companies discover the customer market insights that enable strategic decisions and accelerate their growth. Join me as we explore the latest frameworks and stories about insights tech leaders can leverage to drive growth, build a winning brand and achieve long-term success in today's competitive landscape. Great, and welcome back. And we're going to be focusing on the CMO strategic planning process. And this is going to be for all heads of marketing that are responsible for resource allocation of a marketing function. And this is going to be geared more towards B2B technology companies, just in terms of the language we use. However, it is going to be applicable to all CMOs, not just B2B technology, but we're primarily going to be focused on B2B tech companies. And there are 4 key components which ideally you would have 3 months in order to do these. It's not always a possible thing, but essentially you start off with your marketing audit. We're going to be going through each of these in a lot more detail in a moment. But we've got our marketing audit where we're going to be looking at the internal aspects of our performance. What's driven our performance over the last planning cycle? The next is we're going to be looking externally at the market. So what's actually going on in the market environment that we need to ensure that we accommodate and build insights into our marketing strategy. Then we're going to take both of those things, internal marketing audit and external market research, and we're going to basically deploy those into our marketing strategy. And then from that, we'll then create our marketing action plan. And the reason for that is that we want to do this audit, we want to do the research before we get to the strategy and also the action plan, so that we've got a thread running through it. We've got strategic resilience, strategic alignment through our plans, and they're also linked to the market, what we've been good or not so good at in the previous planning cycle, and also into corporate strategy. Like I said, ideally this would be done over 3 months. It's not always possible to do that. Sometimes if you've got a very fast culture internally, you might have to collapse some of these things, like the marketing audit can be done at the same time as the market research, and then you can then move through to the marketing strategy and the marketing action plan. But this is what I would expect to see in a company of 10 million plus revenue per year. If you're in a smaller company and then the maturity capabilities are just being put in place, you may not have all of these in place, but certainly if you're 10 million or above, I would expect these things to be in place. The issue comes with companies whereby they haven't done the marketing audit, they haven't done the market research, and they're moving straight through into marketing strategy without looking at their environment, or even worse still, they're going straight into the marketing action plan. And that is a recipe for disaster. You end up chasing your tail through the year with projects, JFDIs coming left, right and centre. You're in firefighting, you're in panic mode. It's no way to operate, and then certainly your team certainly won't thank you for that. So really having a process, a solid process whereby it's transparent, it's objective, you get your team involved in this as well. It's really going to help you. So let's dive into each of these 4 elements. So the first element is the marketing audit. So that's done internally. Essentially what you want to do is to first recognise past campaign performance and also what was the success of your initiatives? And then to do that objectively, constructively, there's some things that are going to work well, some things that haven't worked so well. It's really important that we learn from those things. We rank them, we score them, and then the things that haven't worked, how can we just remove those from the next campaign, the next planning process? And then the ones that have worked really well, let's amp those up. Let's dial those campaigns, those initiatives up. How can we do that? But it's very important that we take stock of that. Secondly, it's important to evaluate your product market fit and the alignment to your ICP needs and also wants. So you're looking at, has the market shifted? Are we still offering the best value to our ICP based upon their needs and also wants? Have we managed to do that through the year? What things need to be tweaked or realigned? Thirdly, assess your marketing alignment with your corporate strategy and positioning. This will often be part of a planning process which is enterprise-wide, where all functions need to do the same thing. So it's really important to ensure that there's top-down, bottom-up alignment. So whatever the corporate strategy is, if it's gearing towards going in a slightly different direction, then you want to make sure that obviously your marketing strategy is aligned with that. So making sure the communication flows with the CEO and whoever the corporate strategy planner is imperative. Next would be analysing campaign and program ROI, identifying low performance. And really the best way to do this is just to rank and stack them. So top ROI, bottom ROI. And then the best thing to do is each planning process, just knock out the bottom 2 or 3 deciles of programs, campaigns that haven't worked so well. Take that money, reinvest it into the new initiatives. But it's very important to identify those low performers. The next, we've got reviewing the marketing channel mix and effectiveness by segment. What are the channels that manage to drive success, engagement, and then obviously leads by each of the segments? What things have changed? Is it your video strategy that's been working very effectively, or is it white papers, or is it webinars? What is it? How has that shifted? And ensure a thorough understanding of that. Next is to highlight strength of the marketing team and capabilities and assets. So what we really want to do is to see, and this is not always about looking at people in the team on a basis of have they performed well or not. Yes, we want to do that, but we also want to make sure that we are understanding our team to a personal level enough that we can identify what are their capabilities, what are some of the unique things that they can bring to our team, our organisation. We might want to think about just reorientating them into slightly different positions. If you've got somebody who's really, really good at inter-team working with other teams across the company, you might want to think about how maybe they take up more of a function which is aligned between marketing and sales, for instance. If you've got somebody who's clearly more of an engineering thought process, you might want to push them slightly more into your analytics capabilities. You start building that up. But you need to assess that, and that's crucial. Also, identifying proficiency gaps in key MarTech and analytics. So the world of B2B technology is moving so fast from a MarTech and an analytics and a data point of view that this is crucial to do, to understand, have you got the right platforms? Have you got the right infrastructure, the right tech stack to drive the performance with what's happening in terms of some of the data factories that are doing micro-targeting right now from a B2B, some of the ABM strategies. Is that in place, or do you need to kill off some platforms, look at some other platforms, look at different enrichment aspects to have a better performing marketing function going forward? Next is to evaluate sales enablement, alignment and effectiveness. How well is that part from marketing to the handover of sales really performing? Have we got the bridge there? Is there any alignment that we need to do to make sure that that handover process and that interworking is working to the best of its ability? Otherwise, the frustration obviously is that marketing is doing all this great activity, handing over to sales, things are falling through the cracks, everyone's getting frustrated. It's not a happy place to be. And then next would be the pinpointing bottlenecks, which are slowing campaign velocity. Have we got some things that are not working that well? Is it around our ability to get people in to do webinars? Is it our ability to get some of the sales team to do LinkedIn videos? That's always normally a bit of an issue, as I'm sure you can appreciate. So, but what are those things that are just creating friction between the teams, but also friction in terms of campaign velocity? Do you need to tweak some things, outreach to different departments? How do you build those additional elements into your campaign to ensure you've got as least friction as possible? And then from all of this, you want to outline your priorities and recommendations for upgrades. What are those things that we learnt? And then structure that in a way that these are the priorities, these are recommendations, these are the things we're going to do differently. And that's going to hold you in really good stead. So let's move on. So the next is market research. So this is where we're going to look at the external environment, and we're basically looking at 4 key elements. We're looking at customers, the market in general, competitors, and we're looking at product, our product and the product market fit. So for customers, we really want to make sure that we're conducting buyer persona and ICP segmentation analysis. We should have this. Unless we have this, then all of the marketing plans that we take to market will not drive traction, because we're unsure of who our target is, we're unsure of what their needs or their wants are, and nothing's getting cut through, nothing's moving. So we need to be crystal clear in terms of our customers and have this analysis at hand, and to do a regular refresh. Secondly, we want to interview at least 10 customers to identify their needs and pain points. And there's nothing like actually hearing it from customers. And the best way to do this is just comb through the deals that you've got in your last planning cycle, and then select 10 customers. Maybe it's the highest value customers, get a bit of a range in there, and then set up interviews with the top 10 customers, and then identify their needs and pain points. What's resonating with them right now? Why did they choose you? Why did they buy from you? How do they use the product? Who's the decision makers? Who are the operational leads? How do those two things differ? And then also really looking into where do they go for getting information? All of those things need to come out during that stage. And then analysing and diagramming customer buying journey. So what is the customer journey map? What is the buying journey of those customers? How do they get from being unaware in practice, not in theory, in practice, in terms of engaging with your firm? And then obviously the post-purchase customer success cycle, which is imperative to build repeat purchase and also build referrals in a very challenging market. The market, so to research industry and market trends, innovations, threats, what's new, was big and maybe not so big now, what's changed, what entrants have come in, what does the market look like in terms of growth rates, where's it moving to, has the TAM, your SAM, grown or reduced, what does that look like? And then to map key partnerships and influencers in the ecosystem. Have those partnerships changed, evolved? What influencers are there to ensure that you can put your offer in front of their audience to accelerate traction in the market. And then next would be to identify market problems and needs. Have these changed? Have these moved on? What problems does the market actually need solving? And then next we've got competitors. So you've got a broad reach of competitors. How are we benchmarking ourselves against competitors, both in terms of the positioning, the value curve we've got. So how do we score on the key things that customers will score us out of and really care about? And then what are the product alternatives and how do they stack up against ours? Crucial, because obviously customers, buyers are not making insular decisions when they're choosing to buy from your firm. They've got a portfolio to evaluate from. As soon as they become solution aware, they're basically going through a set process of evaluating product alternatives. So if your firm doesn't understand that, then when it hits down to the customer, it's just going to be really difficult to get the right level of market share that your firm should. And then lastly, on competitors, is to evaluate the success drivers of high performing competitors. So you might have a extremely fast growth competitor or one with a lot of market share. What are they doing differently to you? And then to actually get into that company, to break it down, understand their financial aspects, their cultural aspects, how do they drive innovation, how do they drive market touch, what are those things that they're actually doing, and to break that down as much as possible so you can understand how to emulate that level of success. Doesn't mean to copy it, but we want to model some of those things that high performing competitors are doing. And it doesn't surprise me anymore from what I see from some of those dominant companies in markets, how differently they can behave and perform from the number 2 or 3 players. They are doing a set of very unique things. It's important to re-understand what those unique things are. And then finally, this component around the product. So in the product aspect, we want to identify market opportunities that competitors have not yet sufficiently invested in. Can we dial up certain product messages or maybe dial them down? And we also want to look at, of course, if we're going to do any product launches, to validate the product market fit of those before we take those into market. And we're investing in R&D and also launch funds into those products. So before we move on to the next one, this is basically where we fit. So TechGrowth Insights, we provide primary market research services to B2B technology companies, and all of those aspects within the market research, that external view, we work with chief marketing officers, CEOs to provide those. So from a customer point of view, we've got the customer needs and buying journey insights service that we have to break down what are the needs. We use the Bain & Co 40-point model for that. And then we break down the buying journey, the customer journey map, to look through where is friction, where are we getting wins, what can we be doing differently to get the customer through that cycle as quickly as possible. Then we've got, from a market point of view, we've got market sizing and also the market assessment, where we're looking at your TAM, your SAM, your market growth rates, but also more importantly, the competitive positioning that's going in, the aspects that are driving competition and the key needs of the market in order to focus on. Then we've got competitors. We've got 2 services there. We've got a competitor benchmarking insights, which is across a range of different competitors that you may have, looking at ensuring that you're benchmarked against your service, your product, but then also your go-to-market in terms of how you stack up across your key market competitors. That might be 5 or 6 competitors. And then we do a strategic company analysis service whereby we can take one of your biggest competitors and then we'll do a full breakdown of those. And we do all of this through primary market qualitative interviews. So we will interview people associated with these different areas in order to define exactly what's going on here. And with the strategic company analysis, what we'll do is we'll actually interview former executives of your target company to find out exactly what's going on within that company, to really break apart the truth, so you've got complete transparency. What is actually happening in that your biggest competitor, how they're actually driving their success. And then the last one here we've got for products, we've got the new product concept market study, which basically is just that. It basically looks at product market fit. We interview your target customers, we ensure that your price alignment is right, we look at the different competitors in the market, and we make sure that your positioning and those recommendations are spot on, which then allows you, and if you are interested in any of these services, you'll see a link on the main page where you can book a call just to explore any of these services directly. But let's get moving on the rest of the 4 pillars. So the next pillar is your marketing strategy. So here, once you've done the internal assessment, the external assessment, then we need to build our marketing strategy. And then here, basically what we're going to do is select and measure any North Star metrics for growth. So from this, you definitely want to have a rallying cry for your team, and then ensure that the company knows your primary focus for this year. So, and the North Star needs to be aligned with the corporate strategy as well. So is this about going for growth? Is this growing new logos? Is this reducing churn? Is this increasing revenue per customer? Is this driving more middle of the funnel engagement? You know, what is it what is your war cry for your function? And that's important so that people can get behind within your team and also across the company to support that main initiative that you're trying to drive. The next is determining optimal audience segmentation and targeting. So you would have done this through the internal and the external views, and then you're looking at how do you target, who do you target, and then ensure that you've got the next element, which is a detailed target by a persona. So this is really important to synchronize activities across sales and marketing around those people that you're going to be targeting. And then the next element here is, which is linked to that, is mapping out the precise customer problems and solutions. Certainly in B2B technology, the best companies in the world are able to really understand what pain points customers have and what their desired state is. And what they're really good at is agitating those pain points and then bringing, in fact, a lot more pain to them by the way they're phrasing them in communications. And when communications really are dialed in, it's almost like you're speaking to the customer will say, oh, it's like you spoke to me. It's like you spoke to me, because you really understand those problems. But then on the transverse, you really understand the solution. So what you're doing here is you're mapping out your value proposition, your messaging, which is really you are the solution to get the customer from the problem they have to the desired state, the solution. You are the bridge. They need to come to you, and you'll find that your marketing just works a lot more effectively once that's dialed in. And that's really the next element here, which is the differentiated value proposition and messaging. Can't underestimate how important this is. I've been in companies which you go in and the value proposition is okay. I've been in other companies where it's dreadful, and the defining difference in terms of a high performing organization, particularly in B2B technology, and a low performing one, is show me the value proposition. Show me the value proposition, show me the messaging. When it's all dialed in, that business is flying. because their connection with the customer is just so dialed in. Customers feel like they're being spoken to directly. They feel they're being understood. They want to deal with companies where they feel that they're being understood. And that's really where that traction gets. But on the converse, if customers feel that they're being pitch slapped, they're just being outreached, they're being bombarded, then it can really go the other way and be quite negative. And then next is from the value proposition and the messaging, after understanding customer problems, is to create the narratives per persona and segment. And those narratives only have to be a few paragraphs, bullet points, but these are the stories we're going to tell against the pain points. These are the stories that we're going to tell against providing them with how our solution is the bridge to their nirvana, their state that they really want to get to. So those narratives and building those narratives so that everyone understands within your team and across the company how marketing is going to interface with customers, prospective customers. And then the next is devising the detailed messaging and content strategy. You've got the narratives by persona and segment. What does that detailed messaging look like? You might, at this stage, want to get some of your team involved and then start building the content strategy around that. How do you deliver this messaging? Is this through some kind of intent-based targeting that you're going to do? Are you using short-form content to act as hooks so it's very readable and it's easy to engage with? And then are you going to quickly migrate them to longer form content like maybe video or newsletters or podcasts for your middle of the funnel content to nurture them through the cycle in terms of making them a sales ready lead? Or, what is that messaging and content strategy? And then next, in terms of aligning the in-market campaigns to the funnel. So you'll have your funnel, you'll have your growth goals. What are those changes you're going to make in your funnel? How does your funnel now look, given that you've been through the internal assessment, external assessment? You understand what competitors are doing. You understand where improvements need to be made in terms of your own activity. What does that funnel and growth goals look like? And then lastly, to set up reporting analytics to track KPIs. There's going to be some changes in some of the reporting you want to do. There's going to be some changes in the analytics to track metrics. Are you succeeding or are you not? This is the place to handle it. And then finally, we're going to get into our marketing action plan. And certainly on the marketing action plan, it's always good to do some experimentation. So this experimentation will come from the analysis that you've done from an internal and an external perspective. And you want to select 3 to 5 new marketing channels and tactics to test. So if you're not doing podcasts and you see that some standout competitors are doing podcasts, that could be one. And that's to have more engagement with you as a firm. If you're not using the mix of short form video and long form video, you might want to start looking at that, or whatever you've seen in the internal and external assessment. But that's why that's so important before starting to actually put ideas down, rather than sometimes what normally happens when that structured process hasn't been followed, that everybody's got a good idea. Oh, I've heard, why don't we try this, or why don't we try that? And it just becomes a really frustrating exercise where it just becomes opinion-based assumptions, and we're not really driving from best practice. And then list the ideas and prioritize experiments. Design a rigorous and measurable set of pilot programs that can be documented. And then you don't try and test everything in one go. Spread them out across the months, spread them out across the quarters. And then that's the way that you can determine success, and then essentially identify potential partners to leverage if relevant. Have new partners come through into the ecosystem. Can you work with those to put your offer in front of them and look at how you can monetize that relationship? Do you incent it by providing financial rewards like affiliate payments? Can you put up some partner portals to do that? Or alternatively, if this is more of an informal relationship, what does that quid pro quo look like? So you're really solidifying that. But these would be essential things to do. And then obviously as you're going through, you want to scale the winners and then kill the pilots that haven't really worked. But don't risk a lot of money. You don't need to risk a load of money on this, on the experimentation plan. Most companies will say that experimenting with around between 8 to 10% of budget is optimum. Some companies go beyond that, but I think 8 to 10% per year, which is just going on in experimentation, bringing in new capability into the company in order to get better at things. And then you've got your long-term plan key points. So map out your primary programs to achieve your growth targets, to build out your full funnel brand journey with key touch points, craft your content strategy to fuel programs and stages, design sales and customer success handoff systems, plot out detailed execution roadmap and milestones, and then as you're going through to monitor performance and refine. And this really needs to be a management by objectives, that there's a rigorous process through the year whereby on a regular basis you're looking at what's working, what's not, what's working, what's not, why is it not working, how can we do things differently, and then iterating around those things and ensuring that you're grinding out success. Having been in quite a few technology companies, it really does just get back to grinding out success through a replicatable process, which is built on insights at the heart, internal, external, and then driving that innovation and then ensuring that you're managing by objectives through the year. And then you drive out the objectives that you want to for your firm. So that would be an overview for this video here of those 4 key pillars: your marketing audit, which is your internal aspect; your market research, which is looking at your external environment that TechGrowth Insights can help you with if you need some help; your marketing strategy, which is going to be your strategic context and how you link with your corporate strategy; and finally your marketing action plan, which is where the rubber hits the road, but you really want to have that dialed in a well-run process. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, give us a like, it really helps. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and then if you do want to have a consultation, you can just see my contact us, my calendar on the link on the page. Just hit me up on that. Would love to have a conversation about you and your business, what goals you're looking for, and then how we can potentially help on your market research to bring that insight into your firm. So until the next time, thanks very much and have a good rest of the day. All the best. Thanks. Bye.